But what I think is really interesting is the fact that Trump is already setting it up in Pennsylvania to talk about the ballots and the fraud before it's even happening. They're talking about things, I think, very intentionally so they can already stoke the flames when votes haven't been, nobody knows anything yet, right? And they're already acting as though they have this understanding that they're going to start sending out these lawsuits at any moment. So I do think he's nervous. In particular, I think he's very nervous about Pennsylvania. And TJ, as an aside, I just want to add something. I think it's very cute that you have a kitty cat on your lap right now as your emotional support animal, because I really think all of us right now need to find something that's going to bring us some level of joy or comfort or levity during the next week or two, because this is going to get really weird and really rough the closer we get to this final tally of the votes. And we are not going to know who won on November 6th. I think Pennsylvania it's going to be a minute before we know anything at all. But the reality is, I don't think that the point of their rally, their Nazi rally, whatever you want to call it, in Madison Square Garden was to extend an olive branch to the other side or independent voters. It was to stoke the flames of racism, xenophobia, and sexism. So when he does lose the popular vote, and I believe that he will, they have their base already fired up and ready to commit acts of violence on Trump's behalf.
It is probably the thing that makes me most confident about Kamala's chances is how much they're already preparing for it.
Yeah.
And you can make the argument that they're going to do that either way, just in case to hedge their bets, and that's a fair argument. But sure, it has escalated in the past 2 weeks.
It's not giving off strong, confident energy from Trump.
No.
And I got a video.
Alpha male energy.
No. Despite what Byron Donalds tells you, Donald Trump does not give off alpha male energy.
No.
I wrote down bold prediction by Natalie that Kamala will win the popular vote. I wrote that down right there. I thought that was pretty funny. But I want to show what Natalie was talking about how Trump is kind of laying the groundwork for I was robbed already. And here's a clip right now about what she was talking about. At least I hope I didn't mess this up.
We have breaking news from the Trump campaign involving a lawsuit against Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Let's go back to NBC's Dasha Burns. Dasha, what do we know about this?
All right, so we just received an email from the Trump-Vance campaign saying that they have filed a lawsuit over voter suppression in Pennsylvania. The press release states that this is a direct violation of Pennsylvania's right to cast their ballot. All voters have a right to stay in line, claiming that Bucks County, Pennsylvania has been turning away voters. Now, we're looking into all of these claims, Jose, but as I said to you earlier, Pennsylvania has been a specific focus for the Trump campaign when it comes to these claims of voter suppression. The former president posting earlier claiming that there's fraud going on, widespread fraud in Pennsylvania, which we have not seen evidence of. And Bucks County in particular, Jose, is a pretty critical county. It's one of the collar counties around Philadelphia, the suburban counties where both the Trump campaign and the Harris campaign really need to run up their numbers. It could be those counties surrounding Philadelphia that could be the tipping point in this election. So the fact that they are focused in on Bucks in particular is significant, Jose.
All right. So if I remember correctly on this, I saw something yesterday where Trump was complaining. He put out 2 posts on Truth Social saying that Pennsylvania officials, or you guys may know this better than I do. I just realized I'm the outsider here, but they were turning away people from the voting lines because they were wearing like Trump gear, like electioneering stuff. Am I right, Natalie?
Yes. And also, you're not allowed to wear anything that has any kind of endorsements for a candidate. That's just a rule.
Yeah, it's always been that way. Yeah.
That's always been that way. That is nothing new. And I believe someone punched one of the poll workers over this as well, because they were angry that they had to either turn their shirt inside out or remove their hat. It's not like they were saying you can't come to vote. It's you're not allowed to wear anything that endorses a candidate. But what's funny, TJ, not funny, haha, but funny like we're in hell together, is I was thinking of yet another incident that I heard about. And this one was from Trump's Truth Social account. And he said, this was, I think, this was the 28th. So just a day or two ago. Wow, York County, Pennsylvania received thousands of potentially fraudulent voter registration forms and mail-in ballot applications from a third-party group. This is on top of Lancaster County being caught with 2,600 fake ballots and forms, all written by the same person. Really bad stuff. What is going on in Pennsylvania? And enforcement must do their job immediately. Wow. And what was crazy about that was I posted that to my Instagram account yesterday, and a woman who is a MAGA supporter who likes to frequently DM me with her thoughts, she immediately sent me a link to an article that backed up Trump's claim. And so, of course, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to look this up because I want to make sure I have all the facts. Well, all the article says was that they received an influx of mail-in ballots. That's it. So there was nothing beyond that. So the fact that a lot of mail-in ballots are coming in is enough to be setting off the Trump campaign and the Trump supporters to go into this feeding frenzy and once again repeating this narrative to set it up where we know Pennsylvania is already such a battleground state. So you have this happening. You have what happened in Bucks County. There have been other things going on here. There have been blank ballots that have been sent overseas to military people that I reported on a few weeks ago. They received completely blank ballots when they were supposed to receive full ones, and the State Department said they were fixing that. So like, there's a lot of weird shit happening in Pennsylvania. And I just think we need to be mindful of understanding the rules, following the rules. And if you are in line, stay in line. But if you need to turn your t-shirt inside out, do it so you don't lose your place in line. That's really what we're learning here. And don't punch a poll worker.
You know, TJ, this is just another example of how journalists are so biased against the Biden administration. You heard her admit it. She's a journalist who spoke to another journalist that there was no evidence Trump was telling the truth. Do you believe her? I mean, she clearly isn't low IQ, but it's probably just her pimp handlers talking.
Yeah. Oh God. I just yeah, this is, the thing with this is actually another topic. We won't have time to go into it, but I saw a clip about how conservatives talk about free speech all the time. One of my biggest annoyances that when they talk about free speech, they don't know what it fucking means. They think free speech means you can say anything at any time with zero consequences, which is not what it means. I'm sorry. I wish it was called something else because it gives off the connotation to idiots that it's something that it isn't. But when they talk about free speech, what I've always said is what they really mean is they want to use slurs. That's what they want. They want to have racial or sexist slurs and say it without any consequences whatsoever. But I saw a post the other day that someone was like, it's a lot more than that. It's they want to just lie with impunity, which is what Trump is doing with saying, hey, there's thousands of ballots filled out by the same person. That is a serious charge. If you found thousands of ballots in the exact same handwriting, that is a crime that needs to be investigated and prosecuted immediately. He made it all up. Like not that it matters, as Donald Trump, that is illegal. You can't just do that. That is fire in a crowded theater level of breaking free speech. And they're like, yeah, you should be able to do that with no problem. It's free speech. I can lie. It's like Rudy Giuliani's defense with the election fraud thing. Yeah, I lied, but it's my First Amendment right to be able to lie. It's like, no, not always. I'm sorry. Like we have to have limits on this. I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Like I don't know if there's going to be violence afterward. Like, I mean, they couldn't repeat January 6th. Like, we'd have safeguards. It could be something else, though, that we haven't exactly planned on. But even if it goes smoothly, no matter who wins, well, actually, if Trump wins, it's just going to be a disaster anyway. But if Kamala wins, we still have millions of people, tens of millions, who will go to their graves believing all these conspiracies that Trump has spread. And we're stuck with them for the rest of our lives. And I don't know what we're going to do with these folks. I really don't.
It's not really gonna get better. Like
no,
and it's one of those things where you kind of just have to wait, unfortunately, for them to die. Like that's it. Like there's no changing it. There's no putting the fucking genie back in the bottle. We gotta just have faith that the demographic changes will make them less and less relevant. And also, just wanted to note on this topic, Bucks is in my backyard. Grew up around Bucks County, the Philadelphia suburbs. Like that's where I grew up, right? There's a lot of very legitimate arguments against the Electoral College, but maybe the most significant one is if you lived and grew up where I grew up, and you realized that the people around here are who decide who's president every 4 years, you would jettison the Electoral College into the sun. Like, it's the most insane thing. The Philadelphia Eagles fans you see fucking climbing the grease poles, they decide who the president is, not you. I just want to make it very clear.
We have a little bit of that going on here in the Pittsburgh suburbs as well. One of my friends and colleagues that works at Public Source, which is a really great nonpartisan news website for Pittsburgh related news. He just interviewed a bunch of people from the suburbs around the Pittsburgh area. And very similarly, if we understood that these are the people that are going to be deciding the next election and what they were basing their reasoning for their voting on, I think we would all be very concerned, because the reality is, because of the Electoral College, our votes just do not all count the same. And that is hugely problematic when you have this large of a population and so many structural and systemic issues that need addressed. The last thing that we need are people going to the Nazi rallies, internalizing that dialogue and voting in that way.
Yeah, that is really dark and sad. Like, the Electoral College is a group of a few 100,000 racists across 5 states are going to decide the direction of the country, and that's just fair. That's the best system we can come up with.
Now, all right, thank you guys so much for coming and watching this show. You made it to the end, even if you are a Republican who we shit down your throat this whole time because the algorithm loves to send our videos to you. Thank you for making it this far. I'm sure you won't like it, but maybe subscribe and hate watch a couple more of our videos. And if you want to hate watch some of Natalie's content, Natalie, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can go to TikTok and Instagram at Natalie Bencivenga. You can go to my website, www.nataliebencivenga.com. And I also host radio on kdkaradio.com every Saturday from 2 to 5. And you can check out some interviews there as well. And these two pop up every now and then. So hopefully they'll be both on very soon. So you can check me out there. And also penncapitalstar.com. I have a series called Facts Over Fear.
Thank you so much, Natalie. Folks, we really appreciate you guys joining me, John, and Wolfie for yet another show. And, we look forward to the next time Natalie interviews a famous black musician or actor and decides to come on the show and gloat about it. So next time, hop on and we'll see what we can do. Catch you guys later. All right, that was a hell of a show.